Welcome back to the Nexus Games Europe day number 4, and we are getting ready for Spain versus the Czech Republic, guys. Spain potentially underperforming from what we thought on the first day we saw them.
I think if you threw all the big names in a pot and you would compare all of their performances up to this point at the Nexus Games, only Poland really convinced. Next to Russia maybe, but they're still to be tested here. But the Spanish team, not so much.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is that the Spanish team lost convincingly to the Netherlands, who we just saw get demolished in 2 3 to 4 level lead games against Poland.
Yeah.
So now we're reconsidering, did Netherlands overperform, or is Spain severely underperforming?
We will have to see, as we are already getting ready to head into the map vetoes. Not wasting any time for you guys at home. Let's see where these teams want to go for the first battle. It's not going to be black carts, as the Czech Republic will ban that out.
It surprises me, actually. I think if there is a team who would have maybe gone for the likes of Blackhearts Bay or Haunted Mines, it would have been the Czech Republic team, because I feel like in order for them to make anything work, they can play standard. It's a little bit surprising.
Second map, Warhead Junction, the only map in the map pool so far not to be played.
Yeah, very true. And Warhead Junction, we've seen crazy games on that battleground in the past, especially in North America, with a new record of the fastest game to be ever played in competitive.
5 minutes and 12 seconds. A very hard time to beat in Heroes of the Storm, but it is possible. We can see some more efficiency used there. But the first game of the day is going to be on Dragonshire.
That's cool. I like it. We haven't really seen a lot of Dragonshire, have we? And it favors one of my favorite heroes of all time. That is the Nazeebo. I mean, only Team Belgium really relied on him up to this point.
Yeah. And guys, if you want to vote for the team you think is going to win for these games, it is going to be hashtag ESWin in chat if you think that Spain will win, or hashtag CZWin if you think that it is going to be the Czech Republic.
What do you think, Bakery? I think the Spanish team has something to prove here. I really think they're going to have to convince us to the point where we're like, okay, the loss against the Netherlands was just a fluke.
Well, looking at the players that they have on their team, they have Vortex and Lucifon, the StarCraft 2 legends, and the 2015 Heroes of the Storm legends as well. I believe that their leadership should be enough to get Spain back on track and focused on the goal, which is making it out of this tough group.
The question is, do they still have what it takes? They had to suffer a couple of setbacks in the past. They didn't make it to HCC with the Open Division team Bushido Esports. And I'm not sure how much time they committed into preparing for this tournament. Of course, I would love to be proven wrong. I would love to see the Duran brothers perform admirably well again. But I would actually bank my hopes more on the young talent of Spain. Maybe the Mugilol. I mean, this guy has been a Grandmaster veteran for a long time. He played other games before Heroes of the Storm very successfully as well.
That's an excellent point you say there. This is not a 2-man show or even a 1-man show. This is a full team game. Every single piece has to be working for you to have a chance of winning.
Very true. Couldn't have said it better. Like Heroes of the Storm, if you have one player or maybe even 2 players who are at the level you want them to be, but the rest is not, you cannot really pull them, you cannot really carry them in the classic sense. We saw that with Team Finland, for example. If you have a player like Tix of that caliber, true, he can really perform well, but he needs to get the others on his level.
I mean, at the same time, though, as soon as Tix started performing yesterday, he absolutely destroyed the United Kingdom, and he showed just how much influence one player can have in Heroes of the Storm.
So let's talk about these picks so far. ETC once again making it to the top of the draft for Team Spain. This could very likely be a Lucifron hero coming in. When Spain started off the ban with the Dehaka.
Dehaka, I mean, Omicron in the last years did a pretty good job of him, and he's still one of those heroes you can never underestimate. Like, it's so hard to play against Dehaka sometimes. Any global, basically, who builds up the pressure like that. If you think you can push somewhere, the enemy team just needs to stall you out, and Dehaka, in the meantime, is going to get you tons of value.
So, we see the Greymane Rhaegar double dog duo coming in.
Double dog.
And once again, we're back to that rotation of ETC, Rhaegar, and Greymane in some form. But what else are we going to see from Spain? They've already banned out one global, as you said. They have a pseudo one of their own. Is this potentially to try and dominate the solo lane, or could they be thinking of maybe some Vortex shenanigans?
I'm going to take us back on a trip through Heroes of the Storm history, all the way back to the very end of 2014, when Lucifon and Vortex, they were on El Nexo, the Spanish Armada, the original Team Liquid roster that dominated Europe at the time. When I started playing the game, ETC was considered an absolutely terrible hero. He was really considered the worst in the game, under Gazlo in some people's tier lists. And Lucifon, he started playing him, and he showed that actually, guys, ETC is the best hero in the game. And because of Lucifon and how good he got at ETC, he was actually nerfed time after time until he was reworked fully to taking him away from the playstyle that Lucifon had showed everyone. So, ETC first pick. It's on Lucifon. I believe in him.
Speaking of ETC, isn't it interesting to see how at the Nexus games we have seen very few stage dive games? It was almost always the mosh pit, and we have seen some really sick mosh pit games as a whole. When would you say stage dive becomes the alternative that you cannot get around?
I think stage dive is almost exclusively limited to ETC being that second tank and being the offlaner. And that is almost exclusively limited to ETC going up against a hero like Leoric or Dehaka. We haven't seen those heroes too many times, and as such, we haven't seen ETC in the side lane too many times either.
We do, however, see the Ariel making her way back into the picks and bans. This is only the second time in a tournament we've seen her. The first time was much less than successful.
And for a moment, I took a sneak peek on your monitor here, and I saw a Marshall star on the hat of Vala, and I was like, do we have a Reyna? Oh, what's going on? No, but the Vala Ariel, of course, is a wonderful combo. It is still reliable. A lot of people say rightfully that Ariel was nerfed tremendously, especially since the removal offered level 7 cooldown reduction. But really, when it comes down to maintaining Vala alive and shutting down burst damage, which with Greymane and Rega we're going to have, I think she's still top-notch.
We're most likely going to see Spain play this in a way that focuses on the bot side of the map. That's the mid and bottom lanes. So Vala Oriel is one of the strongest duo bots you can get. We're going to see ETC sat in between those two lanes, and probably a strong mid laner picked up as well. They are doubling down on this style, as you can tell from the Chromie ban. Chromie is an Oriel hard counter.
Very well said. So Tassadar, of course, would have been a nice choice, unfortunately not this time. So is there any, like, I wonder where Tyrande went, to be honest. I think Tyrande, whenever we saw her sometimes as a pocket pick by you guys, by your former teammates as well, she looked damn good. What about here?
I think she fell out of favor because the Owl build, where you just spammed Owl after Owl, got nerfed to the point where that was no longer the strongest build. She's still a fine hero, and especially when you have this ETC and you do need possibly a more damaging second support against the beefy lineup that Czech Republic has picked. She does have a spot, and she is good on Dragonshire, but it's hard to justify picking her over other support options.
So right now, a lot of faith in the Czech Republic, more than I expected, actually, coming in here with a 44% vote. A lot of fan support behind them. Whereas Spain only sitting on 57 right now. And this could be a big reason for denying globals here with the Lost Vikings and our first Zarya of the tournament. Hooray!
We questioned how much preparation Spain had put into this tournament, but this to me shows that they've put a lot. Vortex, the original best Vikings player, who brought them to the scene, basically, I'm more than expecting him to hop back on there, play this really interesting style where all three Vikings are going to be basically dancing around that top lane, keeping one on the side, backdooring the wave with one of them, and soaking the wave that's pushed into the towers with the other, and rotating them about, really wreaking havoc in that top lane. It's going to be amazing to see.
Yeah, and I'm really scared for the Czech Republic here. If whoever has going to face the lane of Vala, Ariel, and Zarya now on top of that is going to have a bad time. And they don't have those strong counter pushes like a Gul'dan, for example, right now, who could really pressure or counter pressure the early push from the Spanish team. Instead, they have Li Ming, and she's not really known to be one of those good laners, is she?
No, she definitely is not. She can hold a solo lane just fine, but against heroes like this, I don't think that cuts it. The Sonya being locked in is a solid choice for sure, but I'm leaning towards them not having enough mobility to actually deal with the Vikings here. I'm not sure Sonya can kill any, and I'm not sure she can alternate between clearing the wave and standing on that top shrine fast enough.
Yeah, the Sonya is fantastic. She wins solo lanes all the time, but the fact is the Vikings don't really make it a solo lane anymore. It's not really a trio lane because the Vikings are still technically all one hero in terms of if you kill them all and in terms of it's one person playing them, but they're still doing 3 things at once, which Sonya can't keep up with.
And if you take a look at how you normally counter the Vikings, it's global mobility, or you go for quick and sneaky assassins like Zeratul. Unfortunately, the Czech Republic doesn't have any of those.
So, guys, looking at the Zarya, first time we have seen that come into play. What are you guys thinking?
I like it. I think she fits in perfectly to replace a Tassara or any other secondary support, while at the same time builds up so much structural pressure in lane.
Zarya is a pick that gained a lot of popularity towards the end of the HCC finals as this cheese pick that you could really just shove down lanes and kill towers with really surprisingly quickly. I think it's going to be used in the same way here, and I think Spain should have all the tools they need to win this game.
So you're going for Spain?
I agree.
All right, so both cast go for Spain here. I am joining them, but let's see if the Czech Republic can do it as we head in to game number 1 between these two teams. And Kendrick, who is the team on the left?
On the left-hand side, we've got the Spanish Armada rocking a couple of cool and new heroes here for the Nexus games. The Vikings being played by Vortex, Tharkum on that Ariel, Mugilo plays the Vala, Lucifer on an ETC, and Biju is on the Zarya. I want to see how that lady performs in the battleground.
Whereas on the right-hand side, it is going to be Team Czech Republic, where we see Deathra playing the Li Ming, Zargarus playing the Greymane, Kenny on the Rhaegar. In the top lane, it is going to be Thray on the Sonya, and in the mid lane, playing that Muradin, it's Resmex.
All right, so once again we see the Balog talent at level 1 being locked in for Vortex, which of course adds more AoE damage whenever the middle-aged and middle-sized Vikings of the 3 is going to be in a zone.
The middle child.
The middle child, exactly. Who's your favorite Viking, by the way, Techu? If you had to go drinking or having fun at night with one of those.
Probably Olaf, because he seems like the best time. He never seems to get annoyed around.
Did you have a good conversation with Olaf, though?
I mean, no, but still.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Depends how loud. We just go to a really loud club. Problem solved. As we do see a nice power slide onto the Muradin there, trying to turn it round onto Lucifron, but Lucifron tanking through it too easy.
Yeah, this is now going to be the lane we want to focus our attention to. The Zarya melting heroes, structures, and minions alike when she's fully energized. Look at Arzmex. He can't really do anything. He tried to stop the Zarya from attacking, but good luck. Aurel is going to slap you against the wall. ETC also has his own stun available. There's just nothing the Czech Republic can do.
Tamer Strike used onto Muradin, but he's holding through, tanking as much as he can. Once again, aggressive play by Lucifron, sacrificing a little bit of his health to try and secure a kill. So far, it's not worked, but this is something that we are going to have to see the Czech Republic keep an eye on.
Absolutely. Now, let's take a look at what Rhaegar, Muradin, and Li Ming will be able to do. It's actually surprising to me that they sent Li Ming into this lane instead of, let's say, the Greymane, because Li Ming, as Bakery said, oh, I hold that thought, the cast the curse reverse, Death Throw going for a nice kill, resets all those arcane missiles, and orbs are hammering onto Biju.
He does have to back up, though. Biju was very low, but he has to retreat. And the good kill on Ariel, first blood going over to the Czech Republic here, but they lost an entire front wall and a big chunk of 4 health to do it.
So absolutely, as you said, they did get a kill, which is nice, don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
look at what Team Spain got.
Team
the entire tower line, they're controlling shrines, top and bottom.
Czech Republic, though, they also were able to get the mid wall because we actually don't see the 3 Viking lane with one of the Vikings proxying the lane. Balog has died. Eric is in full retreat thanks to the nice gank from Greymane. But what we do see here is 1 Viking holding mid and 2 holding top. 1 on the shrine, 1 in the lane. However, did we now see the continued assault by Spain here. Continuing to try and grab that bottom 4, but a solid defense by the Czech Republic, but this is a war of attrition. This spawn will die eventually. Doesn't have to be now, doesn't even have to be in the next, before 5 minutes, but it will happen.
And look at Mugilo on the Vale. He has a good time right now, always shuffling and scuffling through his allies and making sure that ETC and Zarya stay in front of him, and that Ariel stays close to him, so he can unleash the full potential of the hyper carry Vale. And slowly but surely, they're working their way towards the second defense line. And the Vikings, they're still keeping Sonya occupied in the top lane. They're still keeping Rayman busy in the top lane. So, in the middle for Sonya, sorry. They're doing a wonderful job at this point.
They really are. Zarya is playing very far forward here with that Feel the Heat. She is acting.
That's the one talent. Let's talk about that one a little bit more.
The Feel the Heat means that when she is close to someone, she does more damage. She's also taking the AoE shield. She is very much going to play as a frontliner, absorbing damage herself and doing high damage numbers to whatever front line the Czech Republic sends her way, leaving Lucifron free to be the engager, to position himself potentially more aggressively for ganks.
Absolutely. That's the reason why Zarya positions herself so close to the enemy structures, because of Feel the Heat. If you are in the first 50% of her beam, then you will take additional damage. And that is so crucial, especially against structures who basically can't run away.
Great, moving in here. Good power slide though as an escape tool. Stormbolt lands. Darkham is the target here, but now they are shifting their focus onto Bijou, who is the furthest back. Drops a shield, keeping himself alive, and now Thray is too far forward. He will get taken out, and a power slide into Detainment Strike, taking out Muradin too.
Oh, look at the speed barrier on this front as well. He can body block now. Maybe he's going to have another face melt. Look at Lucifron. You're not going to go through here. He's the gatekeeper. Quite literally. Power slide so well done.
He didn't even need it.
Didn't even need it.
He used the first one and then didn't need it for the second one. Thanks to, like you said, that speed barrier of the Zarya as they move onto that bottom key.
Yeah, very well done. And this is now a serious problem. And I love how patiently Team Spain played that fight as well. It didn't look good in the beginning. They were on the retreat. But you could see Mugilol, he wasn't punished at all. He wasn't even pressured. All they focused on was Tharkum on the Ariel and Bijou on the Zarya. So the moment Mugilol got all those shots in and the damage over time really kicked in, they could turn it around.
And right now the Czech Republic are thinking, oh yeah, the Dragon Knight. As we do see Vortex with one of those Vikings moving in. He splits the remaining 2 Vikings into the other 2 lanes. So he's continuing to keep all 3 lanes soaked. Not aggressively, but this could almost certainly be that bottom keep. Respect getting focus. Vala can't finish the job though.
Yeah, she can't finish the job. She doesn't need to though, because the Dragon Knight is already at the keep in the bottom lane. In the meantime, you still see 2 Vikings top and middle respectively do their shady business that drives so many players crazy.
Level 10 still not available. They're going to end with level 10 here as Bijou pushes back Respex. The expulsion zone to focus down here. Muradin ETC is getting stunned up. The core drops down to 80%, but with the Dragon Knight popping, we'll see Olaf to get completely deleted. It's 4 versus 5 as the Vikings aren't here yet, leaving Izzo mana. So even though we see the core drop down to 77% and the Viking die, we still see Spain having to retreat. Yes, they have basically everything they need, but 4 versus 5 is still a rough fight to take.
A very rough fight to take indeed, and I don't think there's any way Team Spain can now not get value on the map. No matter what they do, the Vikings open them so many possibilities. That early keep removal is going to be crucial, and look at the bottom lane as well. The bottom lane of Dragon Shard traditionally is the easiest lane to end the game on, and they did exactly that here. They paved the way, no more keep, only the 4th left standing. How generous of them. Yeah,
a potential 3 mercenary camps to send into this lane. 2 Siege Giants and 1 Bruiser camp, which the Bruiser camp has already been taken. Siege Giants being left relatively unattended for the moment, and Respex will be scouting that to make sure it isn't stolen. Sonya considering the counter leap, bringing out that that sort of from behind play that we've seen a couple of the teams this tournament go for.
Yeah, and now basically we can do the same thing, rinse and repeat. Top lane is going to be now the mirror image of what happened a few minutes ago on the bottom lane. Look, they're even taking the Vikings into account now as well, providing additional manpower and reinforcements here. Let's see how strong of a push Team Spain will be able to pull off here.
Bijou at full energy moving forward, but the aggressive move in here by the Czech Republic trying to get a sneaky play here. The cocktail quest is complete, so they are going to have some decent damage output, even though they are 2 levels behind.
Arzemex needs to be a little bit more careful on the merge, and I think he was pulling the trigger on some of his abilities too early. Missing a Stormbolt here normally shouldn't happen. You should have that lockdown ready, and maybe then, especially if it lands on a Viking, you can get a quick reset whoop, whoop, on the Li Ming and really roll from there. It's just so hard to make it work though, because Team Spain makes very little mistakes in there. Look, he missed another one. Arzemex, I think it's the nerves. He's normally a really solid tank player, but they must not get nervous at this point now.
Down to 4. He's only on 14 stacks, so we've hit a couple, but not enough. As we do see Thray from behind. He did not go for the lead, but he's still going to move into the backline. Focusing on to Zarya, not the best target here. As Respect is pushed back, Thray is left alone, and Satchel will land though, so that is at least a start. The Viking not able to get the turn in here. Back to the minions. Botman is interrupted, allowing Kenny a chance to escape. As Respect is dropped so low, he will escape. The Dragon Knight has been taken.
Yeah, this was a really good defense by the Spanish team. They basically forced their opponents back, and since there was a wall in between, some of the Czech Republic players had to go bottom, some of the others had to go middle, and that really broke their formation, and they could no longer pursue a fight. And truth be told, they did deal a pretty good amount of damage here. Nice cleanse though by Kenny.
Very nice indeed. They're beginning to move forward.
Whoa!
But down goes Lucifron. Vortex still moving forward though, even though they are a member down, they're still going to go Espagnolo on the core, trying to take it down, focusing it. Look, Vortex hunting away Rhaegar, trying to deny some of that healing as they focus through, but the shield is still alive for the moment. Down goes the Dragon Knight. Do they have the damage output to do this? They've killed off 3 members of Team Czech Republic here, and Spain will take the victory.
Oh my goody goodness. Spain is on fire today. I mean, they executed their team compositions exactly how we predicted it at the panel. Really unstoppable. The Zarya, Auriel, Vala combo. And I do want to question the laning setup by the Czech Republic, sending Li Ming into the lane matchup against the Zarya instead of the Greyman. What do you think about that?
It's hard. It's hard if you're the Czech Republic, because Spain, they have an absolutely brutal team composition that is very hard to deal with. The Li Ming did seem to give the Zarya a lot more energy than was necessary, but at the same time, as we saw on that bot lane when Auriel got basically one shot, that was also their only chance at kills.
Yeah, and a fantastic performance by Team Spain in only game number 1. There's still a chance for the Czech Republic here. But what do you have to show us from that game?
I have the turning point. So Czech Republic, they're a bit behind. They are losing structures, but they're still in it until this moment. So as we roll it forward, we see Sonya. Look at Sonya. She's on the flank, and she's biding time. Now she decides to go in. She holds spear because she wants to find an opportunity. All that Spain need to do is they need to survive. They find the spear into Auriel, but not enough damage is coming out. The way that Lucifron has used his skills thus far, and the way that he's keeping his armor up and blocking spells, see, blocking that Li Ming arcane missiles, now it's too late for the Czech Republic. They've lost too much health. They've only got Veigar, Sonya out of position, and now they're going to chase in. Now, I want you to pay attention again to Lucifron. Look at the way that he runs here. So he's going to get the Zarya speed barrier, and that's going to give him so much move speed. He's going to keep running around the Veigar. All he needs to do is body block. He uses the W, and now he's just body blocking the Veigar. Absolutely no way he can get back into the base. We spoke before the game. Lucifron, fantastic at ETC, especially skill usage. And we saw there just how good he is.
Those body blocks made me feel very nostalgic for the Lucifron start of old, back when ETC had that extra power slide range talent, and he would use that so often to dive gates and body block escapes for those early game kills.
Yeah, really solid. I think no matter who you pick on the Spanish team in this game, even Mugilal on the Vala, who never really exposed himself too much, who delivered the sustained damage that really managed the turnaround in here against the Czech Republic, the Spanish team had no difficulties whatsoever. And what I want to see here from the Czech Republic team is now a little bit more, you know, prediction skills, because the Spanish team did play Vikings against the Netherlands.